Paying yourself as a photographer isn't always simple base knowledge. There's different ways depending on how you file for taxes, different techniques, different methods, and just different amounts that you can pay as well. Hello, sunshine, and welcome back to the Gold Biz Podcast with me, your host, Rachel Traxler. In this episode, I have with me Danielle Hayden, who is a financial expert and works with tons of photographers. And today we're covering ways that you can pay yourself, how much, and how to analyze your profit and loss for each month, and how to analyze those to make business decisions. So pull up your notes app. We are diving straight in. There's a lot to get into, so let's get started. Now I have with me Danielle. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to talk about this topic today. It's going to be a good one.
It is going to be a good one. I promise. We might be talking about money, but it is so important.
Oh,
and
yes.
We'll bring the energy.
Absolutely. I think it's a good conversation to have because it's one of those things, it might not come natural to everybody. And it might be one of those things where, I got really excited to start a photography business or just to start whatever business I wanted. I didn't really think about the financial side of things. And I didn't really think about getting that organized first before all the fun, creative things that I wanted to do. So I think that this is going to be a really good topic to talk about. And I'm excited to have you here to talk about it. So just to kind of set the stage and just start us off with, can you give some financial, considerations that photographers really should just keep in mind when determining their numbers and even just how much to pay themselves as business owners?
Yeah. So I think the first thing I'll say is that you are never too small or too big, right? Like I think as new entrepreneurs or as creatives, we tend to tell ourselves a story like, oh, I don't need to do that. Like that's for the big companies, or, I'm just not a money person, or not, I'm not good with finances. I'm not a money person. I'm a creative. And so we use these stories to kind of let ourselves off the hook. And so I just want us to reframe those stories the minute you file an LLC, right? The minute you start taking money from your clients and signing up for with vendors, you are a business owner. Like you have a responsibility to manage your money, to know your numbers, to pay taxes at the end of the year, and to pay yourself. And we have to do that in a correct way. So turn off the stories. Let's reframe your mindset. We have to get you paid. We have to take this serious because yes, you can be a creative and get paid too.
I love that you mentioned that because I have seen people say like, when should I file for an LLC? When should I start paying myself? When should I file for taxes and all those things? And it's never day one. Like the second that you start, like you need to start that right off the bat. And I do see some poor business advice going that direction. So I am a big fan and a big believer of like, let's just kick things off correctly. Let's start off on the right foot. Like it's okay to backtrack. I had to do it. Like I'm not saying that it's not okay. It does happen, but let's learn from this. Let's teach you not to do it that way. Okay.
It's the wake up call, right? So like if you're listening to this podcast right now, we are your wake up call, sound the alarm. It's okay. No judgment, no shame. We can do things better moving forward. And one thing that I think is a reframe for creatives is to know that the money coming into your business, it's not all your money. It's your business's money. And so it's really important that we separate our business and our personal finances. So every single person listening, you should have a separate personal checking account and a business checking account. Personal savings, personal credit card, business savings, business credit card. And that's why it's so important to get you paid, because your business finances are going to be paid from that business checking account. And then when it's time to pay your mortgage, your rent, your kids' daycare, whatever it might be, we have to transfer that money from your business to your personal account because we can't pay personal expenses from our business. I think there's a story we tell ourselves like, it's all my money. What difference does it make? The IRS says it's a huge difference.
The IRS would say otherwise. And that's really good piece of advice too, like a good wake up call. But someone listening to thinking, okay, yes, it sounds great. I want to do this. but how can I do it? Are there certain tools that you suggest to use to kind of keep those finances in track? I know that you've mentioned having different accounts, which is super helpful. Are there, I don't know, tools that you suggest that can help with this?
Yeah, it's called your financial statements. They are these really amazing, useful tools that when we can put them into practice in our business, they don't have to be scary. They're not your business's report card. It's a business tool that you can use to make business decisions. When we think of financial statements, we kind of think of this, I call it the report card effect. Growing up, we all got a report card every quarter, and it literally told you if you passed or failed, if you were going to be held back or not. In my house, if you were going to be grounded or not.
Yeah.
Right? So the report card wasn't this like exciting thing. And so a lot of times as business owners, when we get our financial statements, we're like waiting for this report card to validate our story of, see, you were never good enough. You never should have started this business, right? Like that, nobody's saying that. And that's not what it means. But we're so hard on ourselves that we use the financial statements as another way of shaming ourselves. And the financial statements are this beautiful tool to be able to learn from your business, to be able to learn from your numbers so that you can figure out what you should do more of, what you should do less of, what you should stop doing. And so I really want every single business owner, no matter what size you're at, first, our business and personal is separate. Then you have a accounting software that is keeping track of all of your business expenses. We use QuickBooks Online at our firm. So we have every single one of our clients in QuickBooks Online. And then preferably, since you're a creative and not an accountant, you should not be doing your own bookkeeping. Your bookkeeper should be doing all of the bookkeeping for you so that you know everything is accurate and correct, and then sending you your financial statements at the end of each month. So now the tool is to look at my income statement and be able to, with curiosity, to be excited to say, wow, I created a profit this month. What worked? Like what worked? How cool is it to be curious? And if you lost money, okay, like I can understand what happened so I don't do it again.
I love that. And I hope that people listening, Danielle, really took what you just said too and take it to heart that it doesn't define anything. If anything, I also like to think of it as a fun little game. Okay, I did well this month. What worked? Or yeah, I spent a little more money than I would like to. Why did I do that? Did I do that out of a place of scarcity, or do I do that out of a place of my business really needed it? And therefore, if my business really needed it, then it's okay. Like it's just analyzing and knowing your own numbers with that. So I think that that's so powerful and such a good way to reframe your mindset around it and think about that. And then also someone listening to thinking like, yes, doing my own bookkeeping and don't want to do my own bookkeeping, but looking at all of those things. Okay, now how can I pay myself from that? What should I be paying myself? How do I calculate what I should be paying myself from my business account? Is there a simplified way to figure out this calculation? Is there a simple calculation? Is there kind of a rule? Give us your insight on that. You're like, yeah, girl.
Yes, and yeah. So there is a simple calculation. First, I want to give a caveat that it depends on how you are filing your taxes. So if you are filing your taxes, so this means that you are an LLC, but filing as an S Corp. This changes the way that you pay yourself. So if you are an S Corp, just know that you are a business expense to your business because you are an employee. The minute you become an S Corp, you now go on payroll and you're a business expense to your business, and you have to pay yourself a reasonable salary. It's actually kind of a relief when you become an S Corp because we have this really cool calculator that we use at our firm to calculate your reasonable compensation. And it takes into consideration where you live, how much you make, the industry that you're in, and it spits out the exact number you need in order to be able to pay yourself. And the idea is that you then are paying yourself similar to what you would need to pay somebody else to do your job. So to do this on your own, you could go to like a salary.com or any of those payroll type companies to see what would you have to pay somebody else to do your job in your business. So that's if you're an S Corp. It's a little different as an LLC. So as an LLC, You are not an employee of your business. So you're not on payroll. And the IRS really couldn't care less how much you take. So as an LLC, you have a ton of freedom. Every time you pay yourself, I call it like going up to the cash ATM of your business account, right? Like you're just literally going up to the ATM, you take out as much money as you want. You are not paying taxes on those owner's draws. The only thing you pay taxes on is the net income on your income statement. That's it. So you can take out as much money as you want. However, this is also the number one area where we see clients. They're like, you keep telling me I'm profitable, but I have no money. Where did the cash go? And I'm like, into your personal account.
Yeah.
You're not seeing it because you already took it. So just know that it's not a business expense. It doesn't lower your tax liability. You're transferring that money to your personal checking account. But here is where people are like, okay, but how much cash do I take from my business? I think that there's a simple calculation that if you want to be able to automate it, like I just want to take the same amount every month. I take your average monthly sales minus your average monthly operating expenses minus your average monthly debt payments. This is the net cash amount you bring into your business on average each month. And that way you can automate that salary amount that you're going to draw from your business into your personal account. So that average number, so if you're not looking at your financial statements every month, that's like a good average, right? So just average sales minus average operating expenses minus average debt payments. And you're just going to take the net amount out of your business each month. If you're somebody who, I hope this is everybody when they're done listening to this, you are receiving your financial statements from your bookkeeper each month. You are at a totally next level as a business owner. So when you start looking at your numbers every month, seriously, like you're being set up for so much success. You are next level. When you do that, when you look at that income statement, you can see every single month how much you had in a profit. Like, how cool is that? You know exactly how much money you can take out of your business. So you'll go down your income statement. It's the last number on the very bottom of the income statement. That's how much you made as a profit that month. And that's how much money you can take. Now, you'll want to leave cash in there if you're saving for a rainy day fund, saving for taxes, maybe a big investment or some equipment coming up. You'll want to leave some money in there for savings. But once you've built your nest egg of savings, you can take all that cash. You just have to have your income statement available.
And so basically, I'm interrupting my own episode to give you a quick glimpse into my signature coaching program created for established photographers wanting to double to quadruple their prices, book their highest package, and bring in inquiries consistently. This is my high-level container of go-to photographers who are making huge waves in the industry. And the biggest difference in this program is that we get a full 12 months together for deep dive transformation, weekly coaching call support, 4 coaches in the program to deep dive into specific topics, and a content retreat, all included in one program. And I always say, if you can book one extra wedding from your year in the program together, you're going to see your ROI. And it's just the weekly norm wins for my students. So I'm fully confident that you're going to be able to do that and way, way more. And this is an application, phone call, and acceptance process only type of program. So if you are curious if this is the right next steps for you to just blow up your business this year, you can fill out the application at racheltrexler.com/apply or get the link in the show notes. I'll be in touch shortly after you fill it out so that we can talk through together if this is the right fit for you. I'm very honest with people and I want this to be a great fit for everyone involved. That's just my heart behind the way I do this process. And I also think that's why my students just see so much success in this program. So don't just be an information consumption overload this year. I want you to be an action taker and start implementing change into your business. So again, if this feels aligned to you, fill out the application at racheltrexler.com/apply to apply for my Passion to Profit coaching program.
Statement available.
And so basically, just want to be clear for people too, you're taking the money from your business account, that you're the profit from your business account, and then you are paying yourself from that. Is that all being done pre-taxes? Because then you also are putting a certain amount of that away for taxes as well.
Yeah. So you'll always want to save about 25% of your net income for taxes. So when we send our clients their financial statements at the end of each month via their snapshot, we always calculate that number for them so that they know how much to save. So you can do that on your own by taking that net income, multiply that by 25%. And you want to make sure you're doing net income year to date, not just for the month. So you might have had an awesome February and an awful March, right? We need to even that out. So I don't want you over saving. Some of the other like profit first methods are really confusing because they have you save money every single month. And a lot of our clients who this and not looking at it year to date, you can end up oversaved. And like, look, if you end up oversaved and not under, cool, whatever. Fine. However, I like to use my money throughout the year. So if I'm oversaving for taxes, that means I'm not buying that piece of equipment that I want or signing up for a mastermind that I want. So I like to only save what I need. So again, you'll just take 25% of that net income to save for your taxes, and then you can take the rest as draws.
Awesome. Okay, I love that. It might be different for everyone, or you might say you have just a flat out answer all across the board, but how often do you think people should be paying themselves? Is it dependent on your business? Should be a monthly thing? Should it be a weekly, every other week? Like, how does someone figure out how much money they should be paying, or like how often they should be paying themselves?
So it really depends on you and your cash management style. So this does depend on you and how often you like to pay bills, what your management is like throughout the month. If you're somebody who, as soon as you get the money, and you might want to do weekly so that you have that stream of cash. We find that people land in 4 money personality types. And our free spenders, they're people who don't look at the the balances before they spend. And so if you're a free spender, it might be wise for you to do a weekly transfer so you're not overspending. If you're somebody who loves to save, like a keeper, then I would be doing more like monthly so that you can see that money accumulating in your business account and then transfer that money. It'll also depend on how you're billing your clients and what that cash flow looks like in your business. So for me personally, I'll give you what we do here at Kickstart, and this is what I suggest to our clients. For me, I like small amounts over time. So for me, it's easiest to set up an automatic weekly transfer that I true up at the end of the month. So I just have a small automatic transfer throughout the month. At the end of the month, when my clients receive their financial statements, they can compare their income, like their profit, versus how much they already transferred to their personal account and compare the two. Like, you can always transfer it back to the business, or you can cut back on your transfers the next month. So it's fluid. And that's why I always suggest people work with a money team. When you have a money team, you can ask them to do this for you. Like, running a business is hard, right? Like, it is hard. So I just we don't have to be good at everything. Like, hang up your superhero cape. You don't have, I can't do your job.
Right. We all have areas of expertise.
Yeah. I can't do what you do. So let's lean on each other. We need each other. And so I always suggest grab a money so that they can send you that amount every month so that you're not trying to do this on your own. However, if you're doing it on your own, I think there's been plenty of tools that we've gone through today that you should know exactly how much to be able to transfer and be able to decide, weekly feels good, or monthly. Once I look at my profit and loss statement, I'll do a monthly transfer.
Sure. And I do feel like as photographers, we go through, you kind of touched on this as well. We go through seasons of fluctuations. Maybe February was awesome. Maybe March was not so awesome. And I think if you can be neutral, we've talked about this in this podcast before, but if you can be neutral about the feelings of those fluctuations, it's okay. But sometimes people are like, if they have a bad month, they think my business is failing, money is scarce, what to do. And then if the months that money is really flowing really well, then they kind of get a little too spend happy with it. How do you suggest that people approach these fluctuations in their business in terms of paying themselves? Are you some plan and stick with it no matter how much or little you're making? Just stick and stay consistent? Or do you ebb and flow with that? I'd love to hear what you think of it on that.
It depends on what season of your business you're in. If you're an established business, you have a few years worth of history under your belt where you know that you have a seasonality and you can start to predict your seasonality. So most of us, depending on where we live, we start to know when our slower seasons are going to be, and we can plan a little bit more efficiently for those slow seasons. And so during the the months that things are going really well and we're taking out higher draws and we are enjoying those profits, that we're saving enough to be able to weather those downstreams. So I like for every single one of our clients to have 3 months worth of not just operating expenses, but operating expenses and debt payments saved in a rainy day fund. So I always want people to have 3 checking accounts: their operating account, their tax savings account, and a rainy day fund. And the rainy day fund helps you as a business owner be able to plan for those down seasons. Always just don't react. And I say this for somebody like, I have been running Kickstart Accounting Inc. for 9 years. And I know that every summer it is slow. And every summer I'm like, God, this does not feel good.
People get busy in the summer.
Right? Like it is what it is. Right. And so you can, as the business owner, know that it doesn't feel good. You could not enjoy it. You could plan other personal things or the admin projects that you've been putting off to the side. Understand that your business is going to have those seasonalities. And when we can embrace that type of mindset, we just learn from it and find that like peace and calm and knowing our numbers.
Yes. Oh, and just having confidence in that. I love that. What's kind of like one final piece of advice that you want to leave us with?
You don't have to do it alone. You don't have to do it alone. And I mean this for any area of your business. You know, obviously at Kickstart, we help our clients with bookkeeping and tax services, but maybe it's some other pain point in your business. One of the first things I did was hire a team because I knew there was things that were just not my zone of genius. And I know that hiring can be really heavy and hard, especially as a creative. And so be patient with yourself, but give yourself the grace to be able to find help in your business. Because I want every single listener to be able to create a healthy, sustainable, profitable business. And we can't do that if we're burning both ends of the candlestick.
Oh, been there, done that. Like I can attest to that. Yeah. And I almost feel like you just have to, you go through it to realize, yes, you're right. I can't do it. And I do need to figure something out. So I love that. That's good. Really good piece of advice too. And I always love to end and ask like, just what's currently bringing you joy right now?
You know, I live in Cleveland, Ohio. And so we have the best summers. It's awful.
For the summers.
Yeah. So just 30 breaks in our business. So people ask me all the time, how do you know what to do with your numbers? Like, what do you like waiting for a movie star moment? Like all the stars are going to collide. The lights are going to turn on. You know what I mean? Like movie star kiss. And I'm like, actually doesn't happen that way. A lot of times what I have to do is take the information from my business and go take a clarity break and step away from my business. Would love to do some hiking around here and of my head so that I can know numbers are telling me. So I know what the next steps are in my business. So my encouragement to all of you is look at your numbers, because I promise you, as you get more confident, it is going to bring you joy. And then take that clarity break so that you know how to use the numbers.
Oh, I love that. I think everybody needs that reminder to take a clarity break, and no matter whatever that looks like for you, I think we all could use it and we all need it. And I think a business. So I love that. Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much, Danielle, for coming on. Why don't you tell us where we can find you?
kickstartaccountinginc.com/gift. We have our podcast by the books and a whole set of resources. So if you want any of the downloads from what we talked about today, if you go to kickstartaccountinginc.com/gift, you can download all those resources. There's some great calculators to help you figure out how to pay yourself.
Oh, beautiful. We will definitely make sure to link all those. Well, thank you so much. This was so awesome. All right, there you have it. I really hope that was helpful. Make sure you leave a review if you loved this episode as much as I did, so that I can also share the love in return and then know which episodes that you're loving the most. As always, I appreciate you so much. Keep shining, and we'll see you next time.